Because there have been so many SpongeBob episodes, it's clear that not every single one can be completely original. In fact, several of the storylines seen in the later seasons are basically just the same thing as earlier episodes in the series. Yeah, SpongeBob rips off itself at times, but it's to be expected with a cartoon running 20 years. There's still quite a few awesome and unique episodes, but today we'll be taking a look at the few that just copy what came before. The Inside Job is a rip-off episode where Plankton goes inside of SpongeBob's brain in order to control him and then steal the Krabby Patty's secret formula. While it sounds like an interesting synopsis at first, does it remind you of anything from the earlier seasons? Well, in the very first introduction to the character of Plankton back in season 1, he does the same thing of using SpongeBob through mind control.
Something must be wrong with my brain. Plankton, what kind of friend are you?
Nonsense. You never liked me anyway.
The Inside Job does do something different though, because he goes around asking for the Krabby Patty secret formula as opposed to bringing a Krabby Patty to the Krusty Krab like in the original episode. Still, the entire concept has been undeniably used before and it just feels like a rehash of Plankton's introduction. This ripoff makes sense because the first episode came out so long ago and probably not a whole lot of kids have seen it, but that still doesn't make it any more fun to watch. Squirrel Record is a season 7 episode that feels very similar to Pre-Hibernation Week from all the way back in season 2. The plot is that Sandy has to break as many world records as possible in a short amount of time, so she goes around with SpongeBob while doing a bunch of insane things really fast. In Pre-Hibernation Week, Sandy and SpongeBob play some extreme sports and get into constantly dangerous situations. Of course the exact plot isn't the same, but these two characters doing so many tasks felt very similar in each episode. The world record aspect to the idea isn't bad at all, though it would have been better to see something a bit more original, since this just felt like an alternate version to Pre-Hibernation Week. When Imitation Crabs came out many years ago, it was a hilarious spin on the classic clone storyline when SpongeBob couldn't tell who the real Mr. Krabs was. One of them was being controlled by Plankton. But several seasons later, a horrible episode came out called Someone's in the Kitchen with Sandy, where Plankton tries to get the secret formula by disguising himself as Sandy. Not only was this one of the weirdest and disturbing episodes of the show, but it was also not original at all. The only real difference between these two storylines is that Plankton disguises as Sandy instead of Mr. Krabs. You know, I can see why Plankton plots are getting repetitive and ripping off of past episodes, mostly because the very concept of him stealing the secret formula has gotten stale by this point. It's hard to do something original with it, which can be noted when watching Someone's in the Kitchen with Sandy. In season 5's Pat No Pay, we get a glimpse of how Patrick would look like working at the Krusty Krab, and he must do that because he can't actually pay for the constant food he's been eating. However, one season later, No Hat for Pat came along, and guess what happened? Patrick wanted to put on the hat for the Krusty Krab, and then he began working there. These episodes were literally a season apart, and yet they feel so much like the same. Both of them showcase what would happen if Patrick works here, and both of them result in chaos for obvious reasons. Rip-off episodes are to be expected, but seeing them happen just one season in between each other is pretty bad. But anyway, that's all for this video. Subscribe for more awesome cartoon videos. Give it a thumbs up and comment below to let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, and a scala is a scala, no matter how small.